Thank you so much, Balaram Prabhu. Jayam Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Purvikacharya Ashtra Shri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Purvikacharya Ashtra Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Ko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Prabhupada. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashta Praisu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 5th chapter, texts 6 and 7. Should we recite text 7? Since that's okay. Nama Sunabhakila Dharma Sevate Hi Dharma Shilasura Dhumakevate Trilokya Gopaya Vishuddha Varchase Manojavayadbhuta Karmane Grene Namashunabha Kila Dharma Sevate Yadharma Shila Suraduma Ketave Trilokya Gopaya Vishuddha Varchase Manojavayad Bhuta Karmane Grine Namashuna Bhakila Dharma Setave Hidharma Shila Suraduma Ketave Trilokya Gopaya Vishuddha Varchase Manojavayad Bhuta Karmane Grine Namasuna Bhakila Dharma Setave Hidharma Shila Suraduma Ketave Trilokya Gopaya Vishuddha Varchase Manojavaya Bhuta Karmane Grine. Naveen Prabhu, you want to try? Naga. Namah Sunabha Kila. Is there anyone online that would like to chant?
Nama Shunabha Kila Dharma Shetabe Hi Adharma Shilashura Dhuma Ketabe Trailakya Gopaya Vishuddha Varchase Mano Jobaya Bhuta Karma Negrane.
Anyone else? Okay. Synonyms. Namaha. Yeah. Namaha. All respectful obeisance unto you. Sunabha. Of O you who have an auspicious hub. Akila Dharma Setave, whose spokes are considered to be a breach of the entire universe. He, indeed, a Dharmashila, who are irreligious. Asura, for the demons. Dhumaketave, unto you who are like fire. Or an inauspicious comet. Trilokya, of the three material worlds. Gopaya, the maintainer. Vishuddha, transcendental. Varchase, whose effulgence. Namajavaya, as speedy as the mind. Adbhuta, wonderful. Karmane, so active. Grine, as simply utter. Translation and purport by Divine Grace. A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O Sudarśana, you have a very auspicious hub, and therefore you are the upholder of all religion. You are just like an inauspicious comet for the irreligious demons. Indeed, you are the maintainer of the three worlds. You are full of transcendental effulgence. You are as quick as the mind, and you are able to work wonders. I can simply utter the word Namaha, offering all obeisance unto you. Purport. The disc of the Lord is called Sudarśana, because he does not discriminate between high and low criminals or demons. Durvāsā Muni was certainly a powerful Brahmana, but his acts against the pure devotee, Maharaj Ambarish, were no better than the activities of asuras. As stated in the Shastras, Dharmantu Sakshad Bhagavad Pranitam. The word Dharma refers to the orders or laws given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarva Dharman Parityajam Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Real Dharma is surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, real Dharma means bhakti, or devotional service to the Lord. The Sudarśana cakra is here addressed as Dharma Saitave, the protector of Dharma. Maharaj Ambarish was a truly religious person, and consequently for his protection, the Sudarśana cakra was ready to punish even such a strict Brahmana as Durvāsā Muni, because he had acted like a demon. There are demons even in the form of Brahmanas. Therefore, the Sudarśana cakra does not discriminate between Brahmana demons and Shudra demons. Anyone against the devotees is called a demon. Anyone against the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees is called a demon. In the Shastras, we find many Brahmanas and Kshatriyas who acted as demons and have been described as demons. According to the verdict of the Shastras, one has to be understood according to his symptoms. If one is born of a Brahmana father, but his symptoms are demoniac, he is regarded as a demon. The Sudarśana cakra is always concerned with annihilating the demons. Therefore, he is described as Adharma Shilasura Duma Ketave. Those who are not devotees are called Adharma Shila. The Sudarśana cakra is just like an inauspicious comment for all such demons. Text 7. O Master of Speech, by your effulgence, full of religious principles, the darkness of the world is dissipated, and the knowledge of learned persons or great souls is manifested. Indeed, no one can surpass your effulgence, for all things, manifested and unmanifested, gross and subtle, superior and inferior, are but various forms of you that are manifested by your effulgence. Purport. Without illumination, nothing can be seen, especially in this material world. The illumination in this world emanates from the effulgence of Sudarśana, the original vision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The illuminating principles of the sun, the moon, and fire emanate from Sudarśana. Similarly, illumination by knowledge also comes from Sudarśana, because with the illumination of Sudarśana, one can distinguish one thing from another, the superior from the inferior. Generally, people accept a powerful yogi like Durvāsā Muni as wonderfully superior. But if such a person is chased by the Sudarśana cakra, we can see his real identity and understand how inferior he is because of his dealings with devotees. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsham Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpati Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanasita Devi Pranamami Hare Priya Vancha kalpatri bischa kripasanabhyevacha patitanam pavinebhyo Vaishnavyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today is the day after Thanksgiving, so I figured it was some time for reflections. So I'd like to give thanks, appreciate, and I'm very grateful for all the devotees who I've had the privilege of serving with. those who have guided me, and especially those who have chastised and corrected me. Balaram Prabhu, if you know him, he doesn't complain. He gets things done. Sankarshan and I know this very well. I'll give you an example. The laundry room before, it was like a mess, you know. And Balaram, he said, "What's this? What's this? Are we using this?" And he just got it done. So Balaram Prabhu, thank you so much for being our wonderful temple president. You're an inspiration to all of us. And Dvijamani Prabhu read that one of the qualities of Krishna is gratitude or grateful. So thank you for all your friendship, your guidance, your inspiration to be a better servant. And please forgive my offenses and overlook my shortcomings. I'm out of here. So Lord Vishnu, he has two weapons. What are those two weapons? Club and his disc. So I'll try to glorify Sudarśana chakra. Do you guys know who one of the devotees who was saved by the Sudarśana chakra, besides Maharaj Ambarish? Without him, the Srimad Bhagavatam wouldn't be spoken. Parikshit Maharaj. So Ashwatthama, he was taught by his father Dronacharya how to invoke the Brahmastra weapon. But his education was incomplete. He knew how to invoke it, but he didn't know how to withdraw it. And so he wanted to kill the remaining dynasty of the Pandavas. And so he aimed the Brahmastra weapon towards Uttara, the mother of Parikshit Maharaj, while he was still in the womb. And when he released it, everyone can understand there's great danger. So from the 10th canto, Parikshit Maharaj, he says, "Because my mother surrendered unto Lord Krishna's lotus feet, the Lord, Sudarśana chakra in hand, entered her womb and saved my body, the body of the last remaining descendants of the Kurus and the Pandavas, which was almost destroyed by the fiery weapon of Ashwatthama." So Krishna, in many ways, he has saved his devotees. And Parikshit Maharaj, ever since he was saved, he's been looking for that person, which is Krishna. That's why his name, Parikshit, means okay. Observer, one who's been tested. What did you say, Dravida Prabhu? Yeah. Somewhat, I think Srila Prabhupada described the name Parikshit as the examiner. He's always checking everyone to see if they're that person who saved him. So one of the brothers, Jagai, when he saw the behavior of Lord Nityananda, he fell at the feet of Lord Nityananda and to pardon his sinful brother. Did I say? Well, first Nityananda. And then Madai, again, he attempted to hurt Lord Nityananda. But Jagai, he stopped him and he told him to stop. This is a very saintly person. And when Lord Nityananda's injury was heard by Lord Chaitanya, he went there in a very angry mood. And the Lord, he immediately invoked his Sudarśana chakra. It says the Lord's ultimate weapon, shaped like a wheel. But Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he reminded him of his mission. The mission of the Lord was to deliver the hopeless, fallen souls of Kali Yuga. And the brothers Jagai and Madai were typical examples of these fallen souls. Srila Prabhupada writes, 90% of the population of this age resembles these brothers, despite high birth and mundane respectability. So Jagai, he had some sense that Lord Nityananda was actually a very special personality. So he stopped his brother from hurting him again. And then Lord Nityananda, he asked Lord Chaitanya to accept these repenting souls. And the Lord agreed to accept them on one condition. Does anyone remember what that was? Can you say it on the mic?
They wouldn't commit any more sins.
Mm-hmm. So that condition was that henceforward, completely giving up all their sinful activities and habits, both the brothers agreed to promise to give up all sinful habits. And the Lord kindly accepted them and did not again refer to their past misdeeds. Srila Prabhupada, he writes that this is one of the conditions when we practice devotional service, is that we should not look upon the devotees' past deeds, but we should see that now this person is a devotee, they've taken shelter of Lord Chaitanya. And Krishna, he is better known as Bhakta Vatsal, or the lover's devotee. And thus he is preferred as Bhakta Vatsal than a worldly moralist who never breaks his vow. When the Lord saw that there was no time for the Pandavas to counteract the Brahmastra of Ashwatthama, he took up his weapon, even at the risk of breaking his own vow. Although the battle of Kurukshetra was almost finished, according to his vow, he should not have taken his own weapon. But the emergency was more important than the vow. So Krishna is willing to even sacrifice his vow just to protect his devotee, Bhakta Vatsalya. And it says, if someone is killed by the will of the Lord and is thus fortunate enough to see the arms of the Lord, that is sufficient for his liberation. In Ram Leela, there was a person named Marichi, and he actually went against Lord Ramchandra and Lakshman when they were younger, I think when they were 16 years old. And him and the hordes of demons, they attacked these two brothers, Lakshman and Lord Ramchandra. And Lord Ramchandra, he shot one arrow and it struck Marichi, and he said 800 miles away. So with this, Marichi, he knew the prowess or the power of Lord Ramchandra. So when Ravana approached him again and saying, I need you to distract or play a decoy on Lord Ramchandra, Marichi, he protested. He said, you do not know these two brothers. So he narrated this, that I have seen the strength of Ram himself. Even when he was only 16 years old, he sent me flying 800 miles with just one arrow. So he really didn't want to go against Lord Ramchandra again. But we hear that Ravana gave him two choices. He said, you either go and get killed by Lord Ram in battle, or I myself will kill you. So Marichi, he said, it's better to die in the hands of Lord Ram, because I'll be liberated. So he went. And it's also described that there are demons dressed as brahmanas. And this pastime is exactly Ravana. When Lakshman went to see if Lord Ramchandra was okay, he told Sita, please don't go outside. Please stay within these boundaries. And Sita, being very kind-hearted, she's very respectful to her elders. She saw that there was one saintly Brahmana or Brahmin outside of their hut asking for some alms. And that person disguised as a Brahmin was Ravana. He disguised himself as a saintly person. So Sita wanted to give something to Ravana in the disguise of a Brahmana. And as soon as she stepped outside the boundaries, Ravana took her by force. So this is the pastime of Lord Ramchandra. So in the 5th canto, it describes the sun and the moon and their relationship with Rahu. It says that Rahu, he's always trying to give trouble to the sun and the moon. And he's chasing them. And then there's like this eclipse, what we know as eclipse. But it's actually the Rahu planet, which is an invisible planet. And it covers the sun and the moon. But it says that Sudarśana cakra, to protect them, the demigods, he is favored by the demigods. So he chases Rahu. And since Sudarśana cakra has this very unbearable heat, he flees in fear of it. It says, although Rahu attempts to attack both the sun and the moon, they are protected by Lord Vishnu. Being very afraid of Lord Vishnu's chakra, Rahu cannot stay in front of the sun or moon for even a muhurta, or 48 minutes. The phenomenon that occurs when Rahu blocks the light of the sun or moon is called an eclipse. You know, it's interesting because we just had this eclipse a few months back, and everyone was trying to look at it, you know. But I think we read that looking at the eclipse is actually inauspicious. Everyone comes together, and then I remember a few years ago when there was no electricity, there was some shortage for like a few days. Everyone was like in a panic, you know. My sister, she was saying, how am I going to charge my phone? You know, everyone's worrying about social media, you know, I got to post this. But since their phones were not being able to charge, they were in anxiety. But at this time, I remember I was practicing devotee. So I was just chanting the whole time on my bead, you know. It didn't really matter if there was electricity or not. And I also had enough gas to come to the temple to do some service. So the devotees were not bothered by these eclipses or some problems. Okay. It says anyone is kind of harsh, but it says anyone against the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees is called a demon. And when you say this statement in public, we will not be will not be liked. But this is what Srila Prabhupada, the Bhagavatam says, because they don't know that Krishna is what's that verse? He's the friend of all living entities. No? Sarvalokamesh from Suridam Sarvabhutanam. So Krishna is the well-wisher of all living entities. So those who are actually envious of Krishna or his devotees, they don't know any better. And Srila Prabhupada would call him a demon. Balaram Prabhu, he mentioned in one class that when the statement was there, that there's two types of people, demons and the devotees. And some of the early devotees, they had a problem with this, you know. They said, Prabhupada, if they're not a devotee, they're a demon? Prabhupada said, yes. So some of the devotees, they were discouraged by it. And Srila Prabhupada, he said, they have to understand this, that there are devotees and those non-devotees are known as demons because they don't know what is actually good for themselves and for others. And it's described that there are a subterranean heaven and everything there is nicely arranged. The atmosphere is pleasing. There's no bodily inconveniences or mental anxieties. But nevertheless, those that reside there, they have to take birth according to karma. And it says here, when the Sudarśana entered these provinces, the pregnant wives of the demons all had miscarriages due to the fear of its effulgence. There was one devotee in LA, I think you guys know him. His name is Sudarśana. black body. You guys met him? Yeah. He has a very fired up devotee. And every time they go on Harinam, he's, just like Rath Yatra. He was sweating, he was really into it. So this name Sudarśana reminds me of that devotee. In the 7th canto, Prahlad Maharaj's pastime, it says that Hiranyakashipu was very afraid of Vishnu becoming an animal to kill him, because he appeared as Lord Varaha when he killed Hiranyaksha. And he was also very fearful of any weapons. So that's when he made the appeal that he doesn't want to be killed by any animal, demon, demigod, and not by any weapon or anything like that. But Hiranyakashipu, he was killed by the nails of Lord Nrsimhadev. In that purport, Srila Prabhupada, he mentions how we cannot cheat Krishna. And one of those people was Hiranyakashipu. He tried many conditions to try to escape death. And he considered Lord Brahma to be the supreme. And when he asked for immortality, Lord Brahma, he said, I can't give you what I don't have. So Lord Brahma, he admitted that he himself is prone to dying, although he lives for millions or trillions of years. So read the last thing. The club of the Lord, the club the Lord carries is the chief element, prana, incorporating the potencies of sensory, mental, and physical strength. His excellent conch shell is the element water. His Sudarshan disc, the element of fire, and his sword, pure as the sky, the element ether. His sword, or his shield, embodies the mode of ignorance. His bow, named Shranga, is time, and his arrow-filled quiver, the working sensory organs. This reminds me of when Prithu Maharaj, he was given the different articles by the demigods, And so here we can see that even Sudarshan cakra is very dear to the Lord. He carries out his will as eliminating those who are giving pain or difficulties to his devotees. And that the devotees are very dear to Krishna, so we should be very careful with our offenses, how we behave with one another. Okay, I'm sorry for the very short class. It's 8:26. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Ravir Prabhu.
In text 6, you read the synonyms. And we get to Akaladharma Setabe, which very nicely rhymes with Ketabe in the next line. But the synonym of Akaladharma Setabe, whose spokes are considered to be a breach of the entire universe. Now, if anyone has any idea what that actually means, please let me know. Okay, good. Nanda will enlighten us.
So yes, I think you were talking about it yesterday, and I thought about it. And actually, setu literally means a bridge. So probably it's bridge. So, but I don't know what exactly. But dharma setu means the bridge of dharma or religion. That's what I.
And that's why it's obviously a mishearing of the tape. And so we look for a correction to be breach. Look up breach in the dictionary. I'm not even going to say it out loud what it says it means.
Anyone? Okay.
Nectar devotion, it said Havis instead of Havi. Havi says in the 11th canto verse, but instead of says Havi, it says Havis. I never heard that before. So it's obviously different.
I just want to thank the devotees for their services yesterday. Dvijamani Prabhu and Ananda Vrindavan, they went out distributing Srila Prabhupada's transcendental books. Dharmaraj, Naga, Naveen, Sankarshan, Mukunda Prabhu, Bhakti Kevin, we're all trying to make this Thanksgiving dinner pleasant for the guests, And it was a good turnout, I think. I'm not sure how it is compared to last year's, but a lot of people, they really liked the prasadam. And I met some new people yesterday. Dayanidhi Prabhu, he asked me to watch over the gift shop. I'm there thinking, what am I doing? But he said he had to go on the altar, and Vrindavan Mataji was also on the altar. So I said, okay, I'll stay here. So two new people came yesterday, and they heard of this event from some type of app. And she said, I really love the food. And she said, as soon as I came in here, I felt very safe here. And then, she was telling me her story of how she grew up Catholic, but she saw, typical hypocrisy and things like that. But when she came here, she said, I would love to know a little bit of your philosophy. Because I told her that we're not the body, we're the soul. And each soul is part and parcel of Krishna, the Supreme Whole. And I told her that we're actually all related. But now we segregate each other based on the country that we're born, whatever faith we're practicing. So I was reading a Back to Godhead magazine, and it has those really nice questions, like what is the difference between Krishna consciousness and religion? So I said, if you would like, I would like to give you this magazine, and she took it. I invited her to the Krishna Lounge, and she was with her friend. She said, unfortunately not tonight, but maybe next Thursday I'll come. So I said, please do. So it's nice people are bringing their friends. That young Prabhu that dances here, it's kind of, he paid for all the tickets for his family. And everyone was like, thank you so much. And I was thinking, look at, how nice is this? But, so yeah, and what else? Mukunda Charna, with the kids, they really like Mukunda. They don't like me, Balaram Prabhu, did you have something to say? And thank you for all those that helped cleaning up last night. And we also had the Krishna Lounge, so that was a very busy night for the devotees.
When we talk about offending others, I'm just wondering, because it seems that it's based on our perception of them or our vision of them. Like if we're not seeing them properly, then we tend to offend them, right? So when that seems to be clear. If we're not seeing someone properly, we offend them. We don't really understand who they are. We're not seeing them, for example, as like part and parcel of Krishna. So then we offend them. Now let's say that somebody has an understanding or has a vision that people are part and parcel of Krishna, or they have some sense of, I need to respect devotees. Is it possible to still offend them? I mean, they have the proper vision, but maybe their just emotions get out of control. Or is that just, or can we say that they actually don't have the right vision? It's just...
I would say they may not have the right vision. All of our great acharyas, they always thought themselves to be very low, They always glorify the devotees. And if one really sees a person in their true constitutional position, they would actually like to serve them instead of, finding faults. Yeah, well, that will fall on us, I think. And Dharma Setu Prabhu said, one of the reasons why we criticize or we offend devotees is to make ourselves, look better than them. So I think it's a tinge of maybe false ego also, false identity. Mukunda, Charna?
I think that the tricky thing, though, in that description is it'd be incomplete to just say that if we look at the acharyas, they just glorify the devotees, because then we do see acharyas, and especially the most recent, Srila Prabhupada and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, who didn't only glorify devotees, they also had many sharp words, even with people whom they did not totally discredit as devotees. They didn't dismiss as devotees. And then Srila Prabhupada puts it into writing. I think it's actually essential enough to put it into writing in his own purports, and Chaitanya Charitamrita especially. And then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. So it seems like it's difficult, and this isn't meant to defend my own, I'm not just throwing this out there because I realize, that everyone knows I can be offensive. Let me throw a little defense out there in case anyone's thinking of me right now. It's not just meant to be like that. But there is something actually challenging or perplexing, when we're trying to identify, is this offensive? This is my attitude, because there does seem to be some place for calling things out for other people's benefit and the benefit of the person being called out and so on. And while that's not so simple, and one can easily ruin one's spiritual life, or at least, harm oneself, maybe not totally destroy it, but really harm one's own Krishna consciousness by getting it wrong, or by just missing the mark even by a little bit. It's very dangerous. But we can't really get around that there seems to be some place for it, and it's not that there's only place for glorifying devotees, and that's why it's tricky.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. Yes, I would say it's just better safe to,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, I just want to make one correction.
Yes, Mataji.
Just when you were mentioning Ravana's brother's name is Maricha.
Maricha, okay.
And the Marichi this Marichi is actually a sage. So just wanted to clarify that, because that is a common mistake that many devotees make between Ravana's brother Maricha versus Marichi the sage.
Okay.
What's her brother's
name? Thank you, Prabhu. And my brother's name is Marichi. Yes, so that's why I always correct that.
Thank you so much, Panashwari Mataji. Are you back in San Diego?
Not yet, soon though.
Okay. We're looking forward to your return.
No, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing the devotees and deeds. Thank you.
Seems like the
Senior Association.
Seems like the ability to see properly and not offend others, and also the ability to control one's dealings with others, if you want to say that. It seems that they go together, because Chaito Darpana Marjana, you're cleansing the heart, you're seeing your own real self clearly, and you're seeing others clearly. And aside from that, the Goswami qualities are manifesting, means control of the urges. So all of that goes together. Now, of course, when we talk about offending others versus correcting others, you could correct others. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But it just has to be done in a Krishna conscious way, the proper way. And looking at Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this interesting book that Naranjana Swami tends to give talks on Bhakti Aloka, which is like the essays on the nectar devotion, the 6 favorable qualities. One of them, anyways, he mentions about actually I think the essays are on both the unfavorable and the favorable in the nectar of instruction. Atyahara priyasascha and utsahanascha daryat. But one is talking about speech and naturally offending others or criticizing, that all comes up. And one thing is that brought up there is that the Shukadev Goswami, for example, in the Bhagavatam, he criticizes the the Grihamedis right in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, and you're like, I want to hear about Krishna. Why is he talking about the Grihamedis? But he's doing that for the purpose of teaching. So sometimes a teacher can criticize others for the benefit of others. But then Bhaktivinoda Thakur says one has to be very careful about that, because he has to look in their own heart and see, why am I doing this? Is there any envy there? Is there any malice there? Is there anything that's really not so Krishna conscious there? Otherwise, I really shouldn't do it. So the person has to look within.
Also read somewhere that speech, it also means speaking something beneficial for even the person that you're correcting, not just making them feel like an idiot. Okay. Thank you for your time and attention. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.